want a man for president who's seasoned through and through, but not so doggone seasoned that he won't try something new. A man who's old enough to know
and young enough to do.
Well, it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you.
Do you like a man who answers straight, a man who's always fair?
We'll measure him against the others, and when you compare.
I come before you tonight as a candidate for the vice presidency, and as a man whose honesty and integrity has been questioned. I have a theory, too, that the best and only answer to a smear or to an honest misunderstanding of the facts is to tell the truth. Pat doesn't have a mink coat, but she does have a respectable Republican cloth coat, and I always tell her that she'd look good in anything. One other thing I probably should tell you, because if I don't, they'll probably be saying this about me, too. We did get something, a gift, after the election. A man down in Texas heard Pat on the radio mention the fact that our two youngsters would like to have a dog. And believe it or not, the day before we left on this campaign trip, we got a message from the Union Station in Baltimore saying they had a package for us. We went down to get it. You know what it was? It was a little Cocker Spaniel dog in a crate that he'd sent all the way from Texas. Black and white, spotted. And our little girl, Tricia, the 6-year-old, named it Check. And you know, the kids, like all kids, love the dog. And I just want to say this right now, that regardless of what they say about it, we're going to keep it.
And then Howard will give you a few seconds over the cut and then bang.
You cast your vote for Kennedy and the change that's overdue. So it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you. Here's the Kennedy, 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 Kennedy party.
Excellent. Oh, and incidentally, I think what Howard will actually say is the first question now to Senator Kennedy. You may not want to get up till he's finished. Then once you've got enough to comment on it, then you're up for the rest of the... And Howard will hit the gavel if somebody ignores it.
What does the cut? The cut means that's it.
Get out, Grace.
5 seconds. Right? Well, what I mean is you want to quit.
Good evening. The television and radio stations of the United States and their affiliated stations are proud to provide facilities for a discussion of issues in the current political campaign by the two major candidates for the presidency. The candidates need no introduction. The Republican candidate, Vice President Richard M. Nixon, and the Democratic candidate, Senator John F. Kennedy. And now for the first opening statement by Senator John F. Kennedy.
Mr. Nixon. In the election of 1860, Abraham Lincoln said the question was whether this nation could exist half slave or half free. In the election of 1960, and with the world around us, the question is whether the world will exist half slave or half free, whether it will move in the direction of freedom, in the direction of the road that we are taking, or whether it will move in the direction of slavery. I think it will depend in great measure upon what we do here in the United States, on the kind of strength that we maintain. We discussed tonight domestic issues, but I would not want that to be any implication to be given that this does not involve directly our struggle with Mr. Khrushchev for survival. Are we doing as much as we can do? Are we as strong as we should be? Are we as strong as we must be if we're going to maintain our independence? I should make it very clear that I do not think we're doing enough, that I am not satisfied as an American. I'm not satisfied to have 50% of our steel mill capacity unused. I'm not satisfied when the United States had last year the lowest rate of economic growth of any major industrialized society in the world. I'm not satisfied when we have over $9 billion worth of food, some of it rotting, even though there is a hungry world. I'm not satisfied when the Soviet Union is turning out twice as many scientists and engineers. I'm not satisfied when we are failing to develop. I'm not satisfied until every American. I think we can do better. I think we can do a better job. I think we're going to have to do a better job. I want us to recapture that image. I think it's time America started moving again.
And now the opening statement by Vice President Richard M. Nixon.
Smith, Senator Kennedy. The things that Senator Kennedy has said, many of us can agree with. There is no question but that we cannot discuss our internal affairs in the United States without recognizing that they have a tremendous bearing on our international position. There is no question but that this nation cannot stand still because we are in a deadly competition. A competition not only with the men in the Kremlin, but the men in Peking. We're ahead in this competition, as Senator Kennedy, I think, has implied. But when you're in a race, the only way to stay ahead is to move ahead. We are for programs that will expand educational opportunities, that will give to all Americans their equal chance for education, for all of the things which are necessary and dear to the hearts of our people. We are for programs, in addition, which will see that our medical care for the aged is much better handled than it is at the present time. Here again, may I indicate that Senator Kennedy and I are not in disagreement as to the aim, whether it's in the field of housing, or health, or medical care, or schools, or the development of electric power. We have programs which we believe will move America, move her forward, and build on the wonderful record that we have made over these past 7.5 years.
Senator, the Vice President in his campaign has said that you are naive and at times immature. He has raised the question of leadership. On this issue, why do you think people should vote for you rather than the Vice President?
Well, the Vice President and I came to the Congress together, 1946. We both served in the Labor Committee. I've been there now for 14 years, the same period of time that he has. So that our experience in government is comparable. I think Mr. Nixon is an effective leader of his party. I hope he would grant me the same. The question before us is, which point of view and which party do we want to lead the United States?
Mr. Nixon, would you like to comment on that statement?
I have no comment.
Walter Reed Hospital is a busy place as Vice President Nixon checks over letters and forthcoming campaign speeches. Out for 2 weeks with an infected knee, Mr. Nixon isn't losing any more time than he can help. He gets encouragement from President Eisenhower, who comes to see how he is and to wish him a quick recovery. The trouble started when Mr. Nixon bumped his left knee against the car door. But it is not serious, and it's reported improving rapidly.
Now, in his news conference on August 24th, President Eisenhower was asked to give one example of a major idea of yours that he adopted. His reply was, and I'm quoting, "If you give me a week, I might think of one. I don't remember." Which version is correct? The one put out by Republican campaign leaders or the one put out by President Eisenhower?
Well, I would suggest, Mr. Van Oker, that if you know the President, that was probably a facetious remark.
At the same press conference, President Eisenhower said,
"No one can make a decision except me.
And as for any major ideas from Mr. Nixon,
If you give me a week, I might think of one. I don't remember."
President Eisenhower could not remember, but the voters will remember. For real leadership in the 60s, help elect Senator John F. Kennedy, President.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. This hour has gone by all too quickly. Thank you very much for permitting us to present the next President of the United States on this unique program. I've been asked by the candidates to thank the American networks and the affiliated stations for providing time and facilities for this joint appearance. Other debates in this series will be announced later and will be on different subjects. This is Howard K. Smith. Good night from Chicago.
you've had a lot of fun. A lot of fun. You've had an opportunity to attack me, and I think I've given as good as I've taken. I leave you gentlemen now, and you will now write it, you will interpret it, that's your right. But as I leave you, I want you to know, just think how much you're going to be missing. You don't have Nixon to kick around anymore. Because, gentlemen, this is my last press conference, and I hope that what I have said today will at least make television, radio, the press recognize that they have a right and a responsibility that if they're against a candidate, give him the shaft. But also recognize if they give him the shaft, put one lonely reporter on the campaign who will report what the candidate says now and then. Thank you, gentlemen, and good day.
Well, let me just tell you. I'll tell you this. You just said to the nut house. But you gave me instructions. I follow your orders. I understand. Wow, that last farewell speech of his. Wasn't that terrible? Well, nobody chose you. What's going to happen way out there? I don't see how he can ever recover. They come on him. The leaders, Knight walked out on him. Show told me walked out on him. He's a peculiar fellow. I really think he's psychotic. He's an able man, but he's nuts. Yeah. Like a lot of these paranoics.
Good night from Chicago.